I have a tape deck right in the other room. I wish I could go and get it, but then I would have to walk away from the screen. I would love to like actually like illustrate how
Go
it's
ahead.
done. You can hold just for like 15 seconds for me to go get
Yeah,
it?
of course. Go ahead.
Okay, hold on.
All right, this is dope.
This is just so far so good.
This is a whole new level, bro.
Good backstory.
Yeah,
this is epic.
Hey, speaking of,
do you guys know what a pause tape is, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of it.
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask
Hold
him
up,
to
brother.
break it down to it. Oh, that's some good chicken right there.
Yeah, that's some good chicken right there, man.
Come on now, baby. I got chicken. I got drink, bro. I'm in a little corner.
Hey, speaking of Quincy
he's back.
Jones.
He's back.
Okay.
It's a little dusty from laying around, and I'm a collector of vintage equipment, all kinds of equipment. Most of it is in storage. I can't keep it all here, but this is one that I kept here just to show you. The top is a little dusty, but this is a Harman Kardon cassette tape deck. It plays and records. Now I'll show you. On the front of the machine, can't really see it that clearly, but there's play, record, pause, rewind, fast forward. Okay, so what I would do is, and I'm right here at the turntable, right?
Right.
Play the record and just say Magic Disco Machine scratching. Scratching is okay, I'll put the needle on the record and the part is coming that I want. Da 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 da. Boom. I open the pause button. I have to pause waiting and record. And when it gets to that da 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 pause.
Right.
Put the record back.
Yeah.
And it's coming up again. Da 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 da. Open. Unpause. And it's a process that takes
ages. That's it.
Man, we would sit there just to make a pause tape, and me and my boy, rest in peace, Witch Doc, Norman G. He was 1/3 of the Blues Brothers. They produced me and my and I didn't want to say that word. Me and my and Everyday Struggle and the album version of One More Chance. Me and him, we started out as best DJ friends and pause tape homeboys and collectors of records and digging, and we would make like 60 and 90-minute. We've made like 120-minute cassette tapes. This all pause, and it takes forever to sit there. It's an intricate process, but what we were doing is actually an extension of what the tape edits, what the engineers were doing in the studio with the master tapes, something called tape editing, and they would splice with the razor tape to loop certain parts of a record. A lot of disco records that we know, a lot of records from the 70s and the 80s, like the 12-inch extended disco mix. A lot of those records were made from tape splicing and what you call tape edits. So again, pause tape was the ghetto version of that. the affordable version, because we didn't have 24 track machines in our house. We couldn't afford music like that. Plus, pause tape was an imitation. Really, it's an imitation of what the earliest hip hop DJs were doing, like Grandmaster Flash or Jazzy J, Grand Wizard Theodore. It all starts with the concept of getting 2 copies of the same record, and I'm here at the turntables, and you running that part over and over, keeping that. And Grandmaster Flash is the one that comes along and gets the credit for keeping the beat seamless and flawless and keeping the beat going. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the early Kool Herc days, it would do it, but it was a little offbeat. It would be like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And Flash is the one that came in and said, wait a minute. This is throwing the dancers off on the floor. It's making them. So he's the one that perfected that. You take Theme from SWAT by Rhythm Heritage. Dum 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 1, 2, 3, 4. This way the beat continues seamless and the dancers can keep dancing on beat. It's a really, really deep thing when you look back at it. A lot of the earliest DJs in hip hop, we don't give them the credit that they should have, that they should receive. They are responsible for this whole hip hop thing. Whatever you see today that's happening with beats, with samples, it is all an imitation and a reiteration of what they originally did on the turntables. From pause tape to sampling, it all comes from them. Salute the pioneers of hip hop.
For sure. Shout out to the people that laid the groundwork, man. Yeah. So now you just explained 2 intricate processes, right? With the as you described, the 2 discs that you got alternate when you're mixing, and then the pause tapes, right? So those are like limitations, right? When you compare them to the technology that's available today, right? Now, I've always had this. I've always believed limitations. When you're limited, it makes you more creative, right? Now,
absolutely,
right. So now, when you compare it to what's available today, I would argue it makes people less creative. What's your thoughts on that?
You're being polite when you say it the way you say it. I'm just gonna come out and say it has made us lazy. Hip hop was born out of nothing. Everything that was limiting hip hop is still it fought and persevered against it. Okay, we want to take our equipment outside in the park. But wait a minute, we're outside. We need power. Jack that power from that light pole.
Wow.
Yeah. I've even seen in my projects, I remember guys used to come outside and they have the music out in the park, and they would have this long extension cord hooked to another extension cord, hooked to another extension cord, going up to the 2nd floor.
Wow, that's crazy.
Getting some power from, and I'll give you another example, like with me, with the SP1200, any of us that used it, there were only 8 seconds. The SP1200 has always had nothing more than 8 seconds. The most updated reissue of the SP1200, now it has 20 seconds. But all those records that I did, except for like Another Victory and Call Him Mr. Welfare, I told you that was done on a synclavier in the studio with Kane. But everything after that, when I got my SP1200, everything that you hear was done with the SP1200. And for extra sampling time, I would MIDI a Akai S900, S950, S300, the rack mount line of samplers that Akai was making. So I agree with you. Hip hop was born out of nothing. As a matter of fact, if you ask me what the definition of hip hop is, I would say hip hop is making something
out of nothing. Right.
So now I'm glad that you said that, because now that we have everything, you would think that the techniques of production would be upped.
Mm-hmm.
No, it seems to be making us lazier because we have all of these features, we have all of these amenities before us. So the hunger is not there anymore. That's why I stuck to my. I like to still use my SP 1200 because it makes me scramble. It makes me, work harder to fit in as much as I can. I got the 22nd version, the new reissue.
Mm.
But besides that, there's nothing that sounds like that machine. It has like a analog type of chunk that. Oh, I'm a sonic man. For me, it's all about like the way things hit the speakers. As you can see here, I'll show you. We'll turn it slightly. I'm sitting in front of my setup,
Wow.
my turntables. You might see in the background there, I was gifted the logo in a frame by the people that tune into my stream. I have a stream on Twitch every Friday and Saturday nights where I spin classic disco, rare groove, and house, called the Time Machine Sessions. On the weekends, I call it TMS Weekend. But DJing and DJ culture, for that matter, as early back as the block parties I was telling you about, mobile DJ culture. That's the kind of place that I come from. The kind of place where, like Larry Levan, when he brought the guy Richard Long in to design, actually build inside of the garage so that the acoustics would sound a certain way. Like music is that important to me. Like I'm still on that. I'm into the technique, but sonically, that's important to me too. The way the music, the way the audio hits the speaker, because depending on how it hits the speaker is how the people respond when they hear it. It's all about sonics.
It's all about detail.
It has a lot to do with technique, but it has a lot more to do with sonics.
Mm-hmm. As I'm looking at your decks there, I bet you probably be ashamed of me. I've got like a Serato controller. What do you think about Seratos?
I think it's beautiful. It's just that all these years I haven't used it yet. I love vinyl DJing. I just love vinyl DJing. And no disrespect to a lot of the newer hip hop artists, but it's not a lot that impresses me right now. It's a lot that I don't know. I'm for the jazz, funk, and soul sound. A lot of what has been a lot of what has evolved in hip hop. I don't know if I love it. I don't know if I love all of it. Some of it is okay with me, but I'm still into I still get happy, man, when I hear like Tribe Called Quest, Pete Rock, Jay Dilla, Large Professor, Diamond D, DJ Premier. That's my love. That's me. That's me. And if you look, this is just one room. I got like another room. I've been collecting records since I was 8 years old.
I believe you when you say that.
I'll just pick up anything here, like random. And it shows my taste in music too. This is on South Soul Records. I caught a copy of Charo. Remember she used to say Coochie Coochie. I caught a 12-inch copy of her song Dance a Little Bit Closer. I always had the album, never had the 12. All the way to jazz, something like Diodato.
Oh wow!
On CTI.
How many records you reckon you got back there?
I'm not vain like that. I've never ever counted. I'm not vain like that. There are people that, I don't know, they like to be able to quote a certain number. I have 582,623 records. So what? So what? You know, I'm not vain like that. I have been collecting. Let's just say I've been collecting records since 8 years old. My father was the first one to buy me records, and from there on, I caught the bug from him, and it just kind of happened. I used to get $5 allowance as a kid, and I remember I would save up. Sometimes, like, I wouldn't spend that $5 the first week. I'd wait 2 or 3 weeks till I get $10 or $15 and go buy the new Earth, Wind and Fire album, things like that. This is a very, very serious labor of love, and it's taken up a large part of my life, and I'm still doing it. And sometimes it makes me wonder, and I say to myself, like, why do you go through all this?
You know, it's a blessing to have something that you love that much for as long as you've been loving it. So, you know,
it's a labor of love, and you know, we gotta love something, we gotta do something, and I'm just glad that at an early age, not just hip hop, but music itself kept me off the streets. I never ever sold drugs ever before in my life. I never aspired, I never wanted to. You know, I'm not into robbing or anything like that. Music is what kept me, you know, kept me sane, kept me occupied, and it turned into an actual career, and pays my bills and everything to this day. There have been up times and there have been down times, but when you love something, you just don't give up.
If you do something you love for a living, you never work a day in your life, as they say. All right, so we're gonna go on to the next song, right? We are now gonna go to the year 1992. How old was I then? I was 1 year old. 1992. All right, let's check this out, guys.